9. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up.
You know, how is it I go from literally a nice and calm, peaceful landscape down in the states of Darlington and the beautiful beaches of Daytona to then where it just rained here a minute ago here at Watkins Glen International? Well, I don't know. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Pete Sim Race TV live here indeed at Watkins Glen International here in Watkins Glen, New York. We are live here today to see the action live on this presentation of Champion Power Equipment's Fast and Fun Cup Series here on the show. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader Christian Shriver here, and we are right now getting set to go on the action on the full display. Drivers currently still just getting their last bit of practice and time in on the track, as we will get a word with some of these guys in just a minute too here, as we're going to go 45 laps of the distance here on the 2.5+ mile long track, road course styled S. And if also you may notice as well, you may see a few little mishaps and stuff on your screen. Do not adjust your television. No, that is not something different or something crazy we're trying to come up with. Currently, we are down on the STK Gaming side, so we are having to bust out the good old-fashioned simracingapps.com stuff here. So I do apologize in advance for that, but do not worry. That does not affect the way we call these shows and call these races. I think you guys know that by now. So we'll keep that in mind, keep that on the track as we now send it down to our drivers and colleagues. It's time to listen in to some of our guys here as we're getting set to talk with the action and get to the show. Let's bring in one of them now. Is bring in the man that pilots the Big 48. It is George Young on the call. George, my friend, good to hear from you, sir, right now here as you get ready to work you off down the track here and get ready for your race today here. How is things going for you right now in that big old 48 Youngling machine? What's the adjustments you're trying to look at right now that makes you feel like you're having a little bit of troubles down on this track?
I think it's a little loose for me right now, so we got to figure something out here. It's not just sliding around all over the place.
It seems to be the case indeed. Well, this Youngling 48 Ford Mustang looks pretty solidly as usual, so we'll see if we can bring it home for NPR and bring it home today on the track.
All right, thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the number 48, George Young on the call and on the line. Working our way through the field here, we'll also listen in with some of the other guys here piloting the Champion Power Equipment Ford Mustang number 9, the Mad Dash machine itself. It is Eli the Wild Child on the line. Eli, how are you doing today, sir?
Well, we didn't just get a video of me wrecking.
Well, I'm not going to lie, we did.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'm doing great. Love a little Watkins Glen. Something a little different. You know, have a good time.
Have a good time indeed here. Now, I know obviously last time you guys were here on this this circuit here, you guys had quite a bit of a drive off here and had quite a bit of battles in those Gen 6s, but now with the Gen 7s here, how much of a road course kind of car do you think makes this place a little bit more difficult to tame, you feel?
Well, this car runs I like the Gen 6s better, but yeah, this thing, once you let the tires warm up after about 5 laps, it is phenomenal.
Phenomenal indeed. So right now, let's also ask this too here, as you are currently dealing with the added pressure, the added drive here around this track. I'm going to ask you this. You've had some absolute wars and hard races here from some of the other likes of guys like Craig Janzik. How well do you think maybe they'll kind of hold up with yourself today, you feel?
Oh, they will absolutely destroy me. They are currently 2.5 seconds from my score, so I don't know if I can find 2.5 seconds. I am not that good of a road racer, but you know, just come out and have fun, maybe get a top 10. Start looking forward to Darlington in a couple weeks, and then playoffs start 2 weeks after that.
For sure there. All right. Well, nevertheless, though, here Eli, we do appreciate you coming on board here today. Our best wishes, luck to you and the crew in the Mad Dash and the Champion Power Equipment number 9.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eli the Wild Child's here, currently getting settled up on the track. I'm getting word as well. We are having some technical difficulties on the end here for the drivers to hear them. I'm being told I haven't heard very well, which that's always a good thing, isn't it, folks? We want to make sure we don't have any issues there. But if we're having issues elsewhere, well, we need to figure that out now, don't we? So we'll see if we can get that cleared up here. But nevertheless, here it's time to bring in our next driver on the track here. Let's bring it down to the 8 p.m. and Sons number Chevrolet Camaro man himself, Sheldon Pearson on the line. Going pretty good, my friend, here right now as you're currently trying to figure out how to work this way around the track, find a way around this place. How much is the car given to you, and what do you feel like it's getting a grip, or you think it's a little slippery down there? Why is that exactly, you feel?
Just starts getting faster.
Just now posted your fast here, and right at the moment here, looks like a pretty good time as well. But do you think they'll be able to kind of maybe hang in there for a top 5 today, you think? For sure there. All right. Well, for sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, Sheldon, we do appreciate coming on board here, sir. And any final words before you go?
Yeah, give a shout out to Champion Public. Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on board here today, bud. Good luck out there to you and this crew.
Thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, here piloting it down in the number 8 machine, it is Sheldon Pearson on the line. So real quick, folks, we're going to go ahead and cut the mic off for a second. We're just going to see if we can figure out what the heck's going on with this mic and see what is going on with our drivers down there. Our mic's working, but we just need to figure out what's going on with the drivers. We'll be right back.
Hello. I can hear you barely. I need to turn you up. Yeah, I just gotta turn you up. You're turned way down. I can. Yeah, for some reason you were turned way down, but I got you now.
All right, looks like we got everything working here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, now on the line here, of course, is the Marauder himself, James Harris, now online. James, right now, currently, I know we was just talking to you about trying to figure out our glitch graphic gremlins on our end here, but nevertheless, though, the only gremlin that seems to be bugging you this season has been just kind of figuring out how to get this 55 machine in the top level rankings. What are you feeling today on this one?
Well, this is the first I've actually had time to practice, so we hopped on early. Tonight's just going to be about survival for me. I'm not a fan of these next-gen cars, especially on road courses, but we'll be all right. We'll see if we can keep her on track and get a decent finish out of it.
For sure there. Now, I'm going to ask as well here. I mean, you haven't been too high on road courses. Your strengths usually lie more on the ovals. How do you kind of try to transition that over from being an oval class driver and try to be more of a straight-up road courser?
Well, a while back, I actually spent a lot of time working on my road racing abilities, and I was getting a lot better than I was in so many oval leagues. I had to, I lost time with my road practice, so I've lost a lot of my skills that I'd learned. So I'm just trying to remember what I learned and go from there, and just like I said, just hopefully survive tonight.
Survive and conquer indeed. Well, nevertheless, here, James, we really appreciate you coming on board here today here on PT Race TV. Great to have you back out here, and good to hear from you, sir.
Therefore, man, appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Marauder himself, James Harris in the 55. Let's listen in right now here with an old friend of ours, Harley Barletta, now joining us up on the list here and on the call here in the big old 81 machine. Harley, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Chris? Long time no talk.
Long time no talk indeed, my friend. We haven't heard from you in a little time or two. I know I'm currently hiding out somewhere up here in the Watkins Glen booth, but you're currently hiding around down in that old Toyota Camry machine. What's going on with this paint scheme tonight, buddy?
This is the 1111 Veterans Project.
1111 Ventures Project. Maybe we might want to give the fans at home just a little refresher on what all that is exactly for.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me? We got you, Barletta. Can you hear us? I guess the glitch graphic gremlins aren't just attacking us, they're attacking him down there. Harley, I think we may have to bring you back in here, buddy. I think we're having some troubles on our end here, so we'll talk to you a little later on when we can, though. Well, we've talked with some of the toughest drivers out here, but maybe it's time we bring in the guy that most would consider to be the kingdom of this track here. This is his kingdom indeed in the Mad Dash 02. It is the Zanny fam, Craig Jancic, back with us on the show.
Good evening from the beautiful wine country of upstate New York. What's going on?
Well, not much indeed besides my end as well, just kind of settling in and getting things finally tuned in, figured out. Our glitch graphic gremlins and audio graphic gremlins have been after us today, but thankfully we've been able to dethrone them and exercise those darn demons, and now it seems like you're exercising a few demons too as you return back to a track I think you're seeking a little revenge on.
I am seeking two different kinds of revenge. I'm seeking revenge from self-spinning here out of the lead last season in the number 40 Freeburn Hot Wings Mustang, and now I'm seeking revenge for that absolute tomfoolery that I pulled at Road America on lap 1. So yeah, we've got the Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving 02 Camry, looking super sporty thanks to Fresh Juice Racing Designs. It's a cause, of course, real important to us here in the league with losing dealing with the loss of Hannah and Cash Ruggerberg a couple Novembers ago. Really important to us, so I always love representing Mothers Against Drunk Driving to help our friend Eli and make sure that we all do our part. If this car stops one person from drinking and driving, that is a success, and that's it's really good to be able to represent such a great company at a great track and for a great cause.
Oh, how it is indeed here at Jancic, and as you did kind of bring that up too, you did talked about, of course, that little troublesome bus stop you had after that incredible duel and battle you had. I believe it was trying to get up there to, memory serves me, I believe it was one of our Fast and Fun IROC Challenge drivers. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But
It'll come to you, but if not, I'll remind you that it's Sean Bounty.
Sean, I was about to say the bounty
Racist
hunter.
Sean
Yeah.
Bounty. Yeah, and it was actually Kale was right there in the wings as well in third, not too far behind, and of course that race did end up going to Bounty after a great battle with Kale on the last lap as well. And yeah, you know, racers have long memories, they say, and it's certainly true here. You know, I've got those two different forms of revenge out here tonight, and I think we'll, you know, hopefully the race guys at Lead Performance Industries, RaceCPI.com, have as good of a piece under me as I think I do. Hopefully we'll be in good shape.
Drivers have a long memory, and broadcasters may need to work on that memory. But nevertheless, Janzik, we appreciate you coming on board here today. Our best wishes of luck to you in the Mad Dash 02 today.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Janzik on the line there. Time to take it down to a guy that knows a thing or two about winning championships and still searching for that first win of his season today in the Big Mobile 135. Please welcome Tyler Meeks.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, sir. How about you today?
I'm feeling it. We're hoping to get a top 5 at the old Watkins Glen in upstate New York tonight.
The old Watkins Glen in the old upstate of New York City, as I'm maybe just about 20 or 30,000 miles above that and above sea level. But nevertheless, you are, my friend, are also currently getting settled in here on this very tough to tame little track as well. You know, you've had success before with road courses and with the tracks like this here. I mean, where do you see yourself today in a cup car? Goes these Gen 7s are not going to make it easy for you.
Yeah, I think the last season we ran here, when we did the Gen 6 cars, we did the Gen 7 at the road courses, and I think I finished third. I would like to say I'm somewhat of a road course ringer with this group of guys. Obviously, nobody's probably going to beat Craig or Robert. And then Brian Lawrence, he's in here tonight. Kyle Holland's another fast guy. I don't want to shun anybody else, but I feel like I should be able to get a top 5 almost besides those guys, unless they make a mistake early on, like we've seen at Road America when Craig forgot to turn 1, and everyone else kind of took off on him. He never called back.
Well, I mean, now you brought that back to his memory. I think when you get to talk to him again, I think he's going to be trying to remind you, make sure not to miss the first corner as well, like Larson did with Elliott earlier.
Yeah, I think he's out for revenge on us tonight because I know he wanted a Road America win, and I for sure know he wants to get this win under his belt.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Meeks, we really appreciate you coming on board here. Thank you for your time, and the best wishes of luck to you as you prepare for what's at stake.
Thank you.
Tyler Meeks, ladies and gentlemen, as he brings the Mobile 135 out on the track. We'll see him in action and then some soon enough. And ladies and gentlemen, I think now is time for our relief of the day. The guy that just brings the speed as much as he brings the fun. The Buc-ee's Beaver Man, the 56 Ford Mustang, John Thacker.
What's going on?
You know, nothing much, my friend. As we're just kind of settling down here on this track, it seems like you're not settling down very much on your driving style. What's going on with you today, buddy?
Every turn, every lap, I am wrecking. What I do. I'm on the edge. And cold tires, and I'm overdriving. I didn't know you was gonna be here. I thought you were like walking around Canada or something.
We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'm currently a few miles above sea level, maybe below sea level, depending on where the heck you're flying from or where you're seeing me from. But now I'm still at least able to make a little road trip, do a little satellite call, and at least get this done via a actual call of the race. And I got producers down here actually figuring out how to do the camera system better than Fox Sports 1 did with Knoxville. Just saying. So.
That's good. I've always enjoyed your camera system and your commentary. So I think maybe you should go teach some boys how to do it.
Maybe one day, but I'll leave it at that. Anyway, real quick, Thacker, before we go, though, I do have to ask you, man, as this 56 has been pretty much kind of on the lower end, the mid-level of the tracks here in positions, do you think maybe there could be a little bit of a lucky draw here with some of these corners? Because we know turn 1 could definitely throw a few of these guys off limits, off track sometimes.
Yeah, if everybody in the top 5 or 7 dies with fiery crash, I'll be up there. Till then, I'm gonna run. Golly, you're not watching this, are you? Because I'm just goofing off now. But yeah, until that happens, I'm just gonna race the track and run, 113s or whatever it takes, and try to Craig, this is a Craig Mayer track. And he thought he was good on oval. Just like you see him here. I have nothing for him unless he gets his first car. And then he could probably totally be as good as he is. He's trying to survive today, man. I might do some color commentary or something if you want me to get talk about the track. But as far as competitive racing out of the 56 here today, I would put money on it.
Well, I usually say as long as you can get past the barricades, then you'll be fine. But in this case, you just got to find a way past the firewall and you can hop in. So, but nevertheless, here at Thacker, really do appreciate coming on board. Best of luck as you're bringing the old Buc-ee's Beaver to life back on the track.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Thacker here in the 56 on the line on the call. Well, time we talk with everyone's favorite Beaver man. I think it's time we talk with everyone's favorite Beast man on the line. William Mann Jr. joins us on the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good, bud. Well, nevertheless, look at this. The man's maintenance 29, silver and red. You know, add a little black in there. We've got a silver ghost on the track.
Yeah, I tried to do a kind of a throwback to myself tonight from the last generation of the car. I do kind of miss it sometimes.
For sure there. Now, I know there's one thing you've been kind of missing out on, too, is a few of these top 5s and a few of these top 10 finishes as of late, maybe just due to some unfortunate luck. But a road course-wise, you know, there's more than just 1 or 2, 3, or 4 turns you got to figure out. You got quite a few turns to figure out on this track. How do you kind of dial the tires in to make sure that they don't cook up too quickly or get too loose on you?
Well, luckily I ran a bunch of laps here at the old Glen with a new car. The setup feels pretty good. It's pretty dialed in. We're gonna try to pace ourselves during the race. We're just kind of doing hot laps right now, trying to set a fast lap and see where we might be able to sneak into a decent start.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, though, any final thoughts or kind of final ideas you really have in mind for these guys as you want to say to them?
Man, I don't know. Hopefully we're gonna get some luck tonight to help us out along the way. Like, I think it was Road America when 2 of the top 3 point standers kind of had a bad night. So, we can only hope that they can make a mistake like that because, man, Craig's setting a pace that's going to be hard to catch up with.
Well, these road courses are a bit of a gamble, but they're a bit of a payoff, too. Man, Junior, you've got your hands full. Best of luck down to you, buddy.
Appreciate you.
In the 30 and the 29 today, ladies and gentlemen, William Mann Jr. calls on this shot and calls his mark. Well, we still have a few guys we could talk with here if we really want to, so I think we'll bring in real quick another driver you may know all too well here. Biggin in the Richard Fornshell camp. The 90 has joined us here. Richard, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing all right. Currently, practice, is starting to kind of close off, and you're still trying to get a few laps out on the track, but you are 3rd fastest out of this practice set. But qualifying, is a different animal, a different beast. I mean, how the heck can you get this cold tires to get kind of set in and actually get some grip for a strong run on the qualifying set?
Well, one thing is to slide through the S's like I just did there. Honestly, I think it's just about trying to go out, and at least I like to go out and kind of push. I know a lot of people like to kind of go out and on that out lap just kind of, timidly get around, but I don't know, I like to push. It kind of gets me in a rhythm and gets me ready for that, hopefully, good lap. Oh, that's down.
Well, yeah, it looks down, and it looks like you don't have a left front tire working anymore there, sir.
That was a muddy shift.
Well, hopefully that's the only time you do it. There's a reason why we have practice, right?
Exactly. Get them all out now.
Absolutely. All right, Richard, we appreciate your time here, sir. Best of luck to you and this crew.
Thanks, bud. Take care.
Richard Fornshell, ladies and gentlemen, on the line here, getting ready to get at it. Well, we talked with the 3rd fastest. Well, why don't we listen to the 2nd fastest right now, piling in the big 5. It is the Toyota Camry driver himself, Kyle Holden.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going pretty good, sir. And right now, I mean, I would say I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I am kind of surprised by how much of a gap you still kind of have down from the fastest guy in Janzik. Is this number 5 kind of holding back just a little bit to try to hide your little secret sauce to get around this track?
Oh no, Greg's much faster at road courses than I am. I'm just trying to put down heaters, and I can't figure it out to get to that 109 area. So we'll be running 110s, 111s most of the time, but we'll see if we can make Craig mess up a little bit and maybe come home with a win.
You know, you've had quite a few opportunities as well with that, because I mean, some of these road course races we've seen have actually kicked up a few notches. It kind of kicked up a few areas where some guys maybe were not really anticipating. I mean, with this next gen car, the Gen 7, I mean, does the tires and the overall control of the brakes actually kind of favor more towards these road courses than the ovals, you think?
Yeah, there's basically not much tire wear here on the next gen cars at the road courses, so you don't really have to worry about too much brakes overheating either. You may have to just cool your tires off here and there, just to kind of run a little bit easy for a lap or two, but you won't see. I don't think you'll be seeing anyone take any tires unless they really kind of destroy them. So it's going to be a wild race. We're definitely going to see a lot of just field strategy, see when people are pitting, but we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely indeed. Well, practice is now finalizing and finishing up. It's time to get to the qualifying aspect to it, so good luck to you and this team, Holden.
Appreciate it.
Kyle Holden, ladies and gentlemen, in the number 5, getting ready for his battle and his war at stake, as so will the other drivers be at Watkins Glen. We will now be flip-flopping around here into qualifying session. We have 10 minutes on the clock here. We'll try to bring a few more drivers in with us to talk with as well, race fans as well, on our PTM Race TV chat. No, first of all, do not worry and have no fear. This is not a little issue at hand here with the crew and the timing and overlays. This is just, unfortunately, the only way I'm going to be able to present this to you guys and be able to get this to you going. You may hear a few distant noises and backgrounds in it. Keep in mind, I am currently broadcasting the satellite view, so that's about the best I could do. But hey, at least the screen stream is all cleared up and good to go. So that's the biggest thing we wanted, isn't it? So, but nevertheless, here as these drivers and these guys currently get ready to put them on the track, you'll see them put up a warm-up lap. This is a non-timed or scored lap. This is a lap that will allow them to get the tires warmed up, get themselves ready and warmed up. And then when they come around to that checkered start-finish line, then they will then set the time and set their course for their first of 2 qualifying laps they may use here at the Glen. You know, there's one thing I am very interested to see too. I'm really curious to know just, you know, how well some of the veterans can come back from the troubles they had at, say, the other road courses that we've seen them thrown on, where they had lost control of themselves as well as control of their starts, giving major openings to some of these younger cats, and also the less experienced drivers, giving them plenty of opportunities to take full control and maybe, if anything else, get some wins and something going here. First qualifying lap is now set on pace here. We are currently going to watch the number 55 here, James Harris, lay down his lap, as well as Tyler Meeks. We're going to flip-flop back and forth between those two. Craig Janzik is also on the clock, so we will see how his time fares. But first, right now, watch around as Harris currently maneuvers, whips and swams his way through the corners here, rides it out. We'll go on board here with him so you can get a good idea of what he's up to. You'll be seeing them a lot on the straights in 5th or 4th gear, but when they enter into the bus stops, watch them shift down quite a few gears, trying to get a grip of the track, trying to get a grip of the sanctuary that's on their stakes here. Then have to work their way through the carousels and then down to the final 2 turns here, of course. 12 turns in total here at the Glen, as Janzik is going to lay down his first one, and if I'm going to have to take a guess, I'm going to say it's probably the fastest. Well, when you know, you just know. 1:10:56 by Craig Janzik lays down the fastest time so far. Harley Barletta laying down the 3rd fastest now as Kyle Holden bumps him out of that spot. And Tyler Meeks now bumping him as well. James Harris 2 seconds back right now, currently lower in score in the field. He's going to need to figure something out if he wants a faster second lap. Second lap now on stake and on full control. Janzik, though, at this point, even if he didn't get that second lap in, I think it might be enough to get him the top spot here in this 45-lap A main event here at the Glen, because really that time, that speed, he has absolute control over what he's doing and has absolute power and ability to do what he wants and do what he needs. And he's very well aware of that, and he's keen on using that to his most fullest potential. Remember, this is really his homecoming track. This is his place, so he's hoping for the best he can get out of his equipment. Tyler Meeks this season also has been trying to find so many desperate opportunities, so many desperate chances to show what he can do. The reigning, defending Truck Series champion has been so fast and absolutely powerful, but is a bit powerless right now, unfortunately, off of the turn 12. Will lose in the corner, into the grass, and unfortunately, lap will not count. So he'll have to live with what he's got here on the track, and I don't know if he's going to be too thrilled about that one, unfortunately. What a tough break there for Tyler Meeks, as he's not able to get anything faster than a time that is on a 1:11 tier, a second slower than the rest of the field. Well, here's a guy we've talked quite a bit about too, and we have seen in victory lane before here. Of course, I am bringing, of course, to our attention the man in the 15. That is Jason Taylor in that Ford Performance Ford Mustang number 15 machine. Now, Taylor, he has probably the uniquest scenario he's been in out of this season. He has not been a viable top 10, top 5 guy constantly. But one thing he has been a constant epic and pressure point of is how he maneuvers and how he takes through every corner, how he takes through every track, and seemingly is consistent on trying to perform that long run, that long brigade, but has yet to find himself in the top half and in the top spot. And I think right now what his biggest thing is he's looking for is he's trying to change that description. He's trying to change everything that evolves around it and make sure that these guys know not to mess or count him out. And right now he is doing that and then some here as he is laying down his second lap of qualifying. We will see if this will be enough to possibly put him into that upper half right now. He's currently in the 8th slot. Needs to be careful going to the final 2 corners here. This is the turn that bites everybody. It bit Meeks earlier, and he is able to maneuver through it pretty good here. And it will be Jason Taylor's time. Scored about a 112 here, so not enough. About a 1 ends up finally clocking in at 113 almost exactly here. We'll have to take a listen into him and see how he felt about that one. He now joins me on the call. Jason, do you got a copy down there, sir?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. How are you tonight?
Oh, we're doing all right, sir. Currently still dealing with the satellite view and the satellite talks. But, hey, man, nevertheless, though, coming out on the track, and you lay down a quick little 112, 113 timed end here. But, nevertheless, I know maybe it was looking for a little bit more. But what was the track kind of dishing and giving out to you there?
Track's good. This car takes a few laps to get some heat in the tires and get going. And plus, with iRacing's thing, if you know, obviously if you dip a tire off, you lose the lap. So I kind of played it safe. Road course isn't my best thing. Tonight's about not beating myself. We're in a pretty tight points battle for trying to make the playoffs. So I just need a solid night tonight. No mistakes. And get on to Darlington, track I've won at, a track I'm pretty good at, and seal the deal there.
Yeah, for sure there. Now I know, Taylor, obviously we've kind of discussed too about how difficult some of these transitions from the ovals to these road courses can be, but you know, for someone like you, I mean, it seems like more than anything it's just going to be a matter of patience and trying to outwit some of these guys, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to be patient here, and this new next gen car is just, I'm still on the road courses, just have not got this figured out. It just feels way different than the old car, and I don't feel like it. Feels like it just constantly is just sliding, and I don't get the feedback that I want. But yeah, patience. I learned that at Road America, patience really paid off there for me, and I'm gonna do a little pit strategy here, and maybe that'll gain me something, and hopefully come out here with a top 10.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Taylor, we do appreciate coming on board here today, bud. Best of luck to you and this crew.
All right, man. Appreciate it. You guys enjoy it.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Taylor on the line here with us on the call. Well, we only got a few more guys here really left to talk with, so I think it's best time to talk with the old 76 here of Caleb Forsythe. Forsythe, how are you today, sir?
Oh, doing good. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good as well. Well, you know, we had to complete the holy triforce of the NPR boys, or the unholy trifecta, as you guys call it. But nevertheless, here with this NPR crew here stacked and loaded up and ready to go, I mean, how are you feeling with this one?
I actually think we have a pretty decent setup coming in here. The car feels pretty good. Long run, definitely. First few laps, going to take it super slow. This car, it plows. But mainly just going to be patient tonight, not push. Hopefully attrition helps us out a little bit. Lets people rake themselves out, and hopefully we'll be licensed.
For sure there. Now I know obviously we just heard as well from Jason Taylor about the playoffs predicament ordeal. I mean, I know you're still currently been dealing with that, constantly pressurized throughout the season. With the way everything's looking right now, where is it standing for you and this crew, and how do you think some of this could affect the drivers today on a road course?
I mean, we've got Darlington coming up, and you don't want to bet on Darlington. But at the same time, it's hard to bet on a road course for a good finish. I mean, I just need one or two people that's right ahead of me to really not have a good race. I haven't seen, Meeks is really good here. He's right ahead of me, sitting in tied for 8th with Harris. I think we're a little bit faster than Harris, but we're going to work through the field. We're qualifying in the back, just hanging out and seeing what we can do.
For sure there. All right. Well, Foresight, nevertheless, appreciate your time here, bud. We're heading for the race. We're going to get it down and set to go. Best of luck to you and the crew.
Thanks, sir. You have a good night.
You too. Number 76, ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Foresight on the line as we prepare now for the starting grid of your action-packed 45-lap main event here at the Glen. It's time to take a look at your driver's lineup. So in this lineup, of course, on the first front row, Craig Jantic will be in the 02. The 5 is Kyle Holland with that 69. That will be Stephen Pless up on the grid. In the 4th spot here, we will see that being piloted down by Tyler Meeks there in 35. The 81 is Harley Barletta. Richard Fornshell will be in the 90. The 55 is James Harris. In the 8th spot will be Jason Taylor. In the 15, 29 is William Mann Jr. 34 will be Robert Lawrence. The 9 is Eli Childs. In the 12th spot, 56 of Brad Thacker with Stephen Gibson. The 00 in the 13th spot. Didn't quite get all the rest of the field there. I do apologize. Currently our timing sheets again are not quite as what we usually have. Alright, there we go. The 8th spot will be the Sheldon Pearson in the 14th spot, and then 76 is Caleb Forsythe in his 76th, and then the 48 is being driven by George Young, rounding out your field for the action here. 45 laps to the distance. It is going to be something here, race fans. The crowd gets on their feet, waving their favorite drivers, waving their crowd, waving the guys into the stage, into the track. We are all ready for this. If you fans want it, we want it. It's time to see who has the speed, who has the power, and who is going to falter on the very tough to beat and tough to tame Watkins Glen. Looks like a little bit of trouble is already here for Richard Fornshell in the 90. Goes into the grassy plains already. I don't know if he's either trying to cool his tires off or he forgot that we're needing to warm our tires up. Either way, he did have a little mechanical problem there. Does seem to resolve it. And it looks like Tyler Meeks was trying to break some own rules here. Didn't really want to go through the bus stop. So he just decided, hey, what the heck? I'll just go through the cones, call it a good day. By the way, for the kids at home that are watching, please do not ever run through some cones and barriers like that on the actual roads. That is not a smart thing to do. Take it from your friend the Crusader here on PT Race TV. Alright, race fans, though the time has come, we have finally hit our mark, hit our point. Comment below, who do you see being the winner? Who's your favorite? Who do you want this to go down in victory lane? Everybody has got their eye on those two front runners, Holden and Janzik. Janzik knows a thing or two about this track because he calls it home. Holden has been here before, knows how to play with the best and fight them off. Stephen Pless even surprising a few here in that 69 with a fast third place qualifying run. But never count out Tyler Meeks in that 35 or the 81 of Barletta, and even Jason Taylor and Richard Fornshell hanging around back there as the green flag waves up in the air. We are off and running here at the Glen. Entering into the first turn we go, and it's a solid corner, no troubles there. Everybody clear off the whistle, clear off the drive right out of the gate. Here you'll see them moving their way down through the slippery slope S turns. I always called it snake tail road because that is literally like being flipped and slinged around from a snake's end boot. And these guys work their way through down the back stretch of the Glen now into the bus stop. Clear as can be. Holden, Pless moving ahead the chains. Staying right where they need to be right now. Childs currently trying to find a way around the likes of the 56. Wants to get around that Buc-ee's Beaver himself. Little bit of trouble up ahead. Problems for the 55 right out of the gate. And there is major trouble there. Giving him all sorts of situations there in the Cincinnati Ford Mustang. No damage seeming to be a problem. So it looks like just a quiet little spin out there on the bus stop. Now has to try to find his way back to the field. Right up ahead though, still your race leader, the 02, Craig Janzik, has already on a dash with the Mad 02. Moving the chains, far and ahead, trying to keep his distance and keep his speed alive. Got our onboard camera here right now. We're watching that number 34 here, or 5, excuse me, of Tyler Meeks as he puts it right behind teammate Stephen Pless in the 69. Trying to find a way around him, trying to find a way around the track and see what he can pull up here on the corners. Jeffrey Lee Ball saying number 69 will do it. Well, can't quite say what he will do because I believe he's saying he wants him to win. But I think he's also thinking he'll do himself some good and do an absolute number out there because he knows the power of the lemonade stand and that 69 machine. Of course, he is piloting the Fox Racing scheme out there, so I can't quite call it the lemonade stand scheme, and I have to add a little context. Before we ever knew him in the Fox Racing machine, he always had some kind of version of a lemonade stand, lemonade kind of style car in the Cup division. Did that always on Tuesday nights. Gave us not only a good laugh, a good chuckle, but also it was just good humor from a pleasant guy here. Stephen Pless, very nice man to talk with and very good driver in his own right. Never count that guy out when it comes to his speed and endurance he brings to the table. You know, another guy we can't really count too much out either. Of course, you have to always keep your close eye and tabs on this one. The number 90, Richard Fornshell. We're watching live right now, trying to get up there to the 35 of Meeks. Now, Fornshell, despite earlier on just kind of getting into that grassy plains, maybe trying to get the tires to cool down just a little bit and get settled up on the track. If there's one thing we could say that the Styria 1190 machine has been well regarded with, it's absolutely taking full control and full reins of a track and the race. He's been known to do that. He's got an actual championship already to his credit, to his name, has come close in the trucks division and even has smelled and whiffed a little bit of this Cup division, but his speed and endurance and oval road course mentality was able to give him the victory in the Fast and Fun IROC Challenge Series, then known as the Fast and Fun Riley Challenge Series. Fornshell only carries that one title to his name, but has still been a pretty regarded driver and best regarded for all really the types of just momentum and power he brought to the table, with also a little bit of showboating to go with it. Can't count him out though wherever you go on the track. And we talked earlier on there, of course, to Jason Taylor here in that 15 machine. You heard him really say, if I can just be patient, I might be able to actually outsmart these guys a little bit. Well, right now I can confirm that is certainly something he is working hard on, but does need to start picking the pace up just a little bit here because he is falling further and further back. Back in the field as well here, Robert Lawrence here in the 34 in the Elite Performance Motorsports Industry machine. Currently had a little bit of a troublesome spot there off of the bus stop and then ended up losing a lot of time because of it. Now the 34 trying to regain control and build speed up using the Elite Performance Industries setup machine. He is working hard to get around that 48 youngling of George Young. Problem is, though, George is, shall we say, kind of a Ryan Newman of the group here. He won't exactly let you by that easily on a track like this. And he's also probably one of the tougher guys to have to try to fight off with. He has speed when he needs it, but he just really, in my opinion, struggles to absolutely pertain and use it at efficient moments and at efficient spots. Hopefully, though, in due time, that might be able to fix itself around. But right now, dealing with a guy like Robert Lawrence right behind you, let's just say I'd rather not be in issues right now. And it looks like already trouble's there indeed for the 56. Is Brad Thacker. Not exactly sure what happened to him there, if he will be able to recover and get back onto the track. But nevertheless, here, I presume we'll probably eventually hear him on our call list here in a little while, knowing him. You know how he can be. Definitely seeing as well here, he has that lemon decal on there. No, does he now? He's talking about his old friend Stephen Pless there. We'll have to find that later if we can, as we take a look at a battle here up front. 3-car battle entering into turns 11 and 12. And take a look at this, the Wild Child sending the man's maintenance 29 of William Mann Jr. off into the distance, trying to send him to the Shadow Realm and pack him to the back, but can't get it stacked in there. Good side-by-side drag race coming off that front straightaway down in from turn 12, and Childs able to maneuver around Mann Jr. Gets a good drive off. Now has to get the Mad Dash Champion Power Equipment Ford Mustang GT ahead of the field as the 8 of Sheldon Pearson stays right there with him. Man, you want to talk about a guy that really also has just been bad fast, but just very, very unlucky at times. I think I might have to give the nod to Sheldon Pearson. The 8 has always been a guy that has been constantly there, constantly in that moment, but just never is able to finally get it off of his back. Oh, speaking of off his back a little bit, looks like the 55 shaving some time off the rear end, and now the front end, left front locked and broken, and the 55 is done. Just like that, everything gets thrown to the wall, thrown around on the track here. It's time to take a look at the PTM Instant Replay and see what exactly transpired here. Take a look at this one here and see what went wrong. Yeah, looks like we're going to have a little bit of a technical difficulty on it right here. We got it. Remember, we're still getting used to everything on our end, guys. You'll still see a live timing, a live feed right now, but this is what happened here with the PTM Instant Replay. Looks like it just came right around that corner there. Got a nice little nudge from 34, and away she goes. See that left front just locked completely out, and it's not a whole lot you can do there. Once that left front locks, you're kind of in no man's land at that point. Back to the live feed right now. Where we go. Let's take a look at our action continuously still. Craig Janzik leads the field by about 4 seconds ahead of Kyle Holden. And yeah, I'm going to try not to kind of come back to this guy, but I mean, really, there's a lot at stake here for him, of course. There's a lot at stake in terms of what this race means to him. Again, he had an absolute war of nutrition, an absolute constant battle of literally dealing with the guys like Sean Bounty, the guys like the guys, of course, that referring back to the faster drivers as well. He absolutely had to tear it up, from the Boyd Hoggins to even the absolute toughest of tough when it came even to the Grant and Infingers. But there's one thing we always have said before, and we'll say it again, is that Janzik seems to find a way to get back at him on these tracks and these road courses, like Watkins Glen especially. Is his bread and butter. He's pretty much designed this place and runs this place the only way he knows how to, and that's put up everything he's got. Right now, currently, he is still possessing the strength and possessing the speed that he needs to try to work around the Glen itself, but he still has a lot of laps he's got to complete and get figured out. watching on live here as well. Here right now, the 45, George Young on the list, on the run, trying to get back to that 29 of Willie Mann Jr., the man beast as he's referred to. And you know, for the longest time, I said there was two drivers that were probably the absolute best when it came to being in the best spots and the best drive and having the speed to go along with it, but were never able to close out the deal and close out the job and get the win. And it was these two that we are watching right now. The onboard of Willie Mann Jr. in the 29 and the 48 of George Young back there. But I cannot no longer say that because only one of them has been able to take a win off, and that was with the Super Money race. With a 2-year-long stretch, he was able to finally win the big one when he needed to most. Mann Jr. did tell me that he has still thought about that race constantly in his head, but he doesn't let it try to get to him too easily or too much. He focuses more on the overall picture, which is when is the next one. That has always been his thing. And for George Young, he said to me flat out, like, unless it's a super speedway or unless it's a track that I absolutely love and everyone else, you know, is more on my more to the level that I'm used to, it's going to be very difficult now for me to get a win. In his mind, he feels like everybody has put a number on him. It's been extremely tough to tame and tough to beat, and it's hard to get it out there. James Harris right now letting us know as well how he kind of feels about the cars right now as well. He's saying now he does not like these cars very much after his little spin and wreck there. It wasn't by Robert Lawrence, actually. It was just himself taking himself out, unfortunately. Harris, it makes you feel better. I have never really been fond of racing these cars too. I love watching them, but I don't know how I feel about racing them still. For those that don't know, these are Gen 7 cars versus what they used to be running, which is the Gen 6s. Now, as well, for clarification, Gen 6s were originally kind of more of an arms race car, which allowed to be designed more for certain tracks, certain areas. But these Gen 7s, they're pretty much spec cars with one ideal in mind, which is set the car up for maximum competitive competition and competitive racing. Well, I can fully say we've got that and then some, but we also have found ourselves in a very unique little tandem and a little tangle up, as now we have also seen some other drivers just trying to have to figure out how tough these cars really are. Those that figured it out quick, they figured it out best. And that's exactly what the 34 Robert Lawrence is doing here. There's troubles down there though. Looks like the 81 Harley Barletta coming to a dead stop. We'll have to take a look at the PT Mr. replay and find out what went wrong there. The 81 of Harley Barletta looked like he might have had some troubles down there in the sector of turn number 1. One more look at that PT Mr. replay. Shows all and tells all. Looks like he came around. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, you can see right there. Once he lost off turn number 1, he just had no control. It slams that right front into the wall protection, and once that gives, that's game over. You have nothing you can do about it, and he knew it too. We're back live now here on the show. Here, race fans here currently still looking on as we continue to deal with the fights and deal with the drives to survive. Another battle ensuing right now here. The 69 Stephen Plus here in the Fox Racing Machine, currently staying right up ahead of that 35, Tyler Meeks. Tyler Meeks right now currently gets in an easy predicament here. Knows he's got a teammate in front of him, but also knows that he's been kind of on the short end of that playoffs race. So he wants to kind of change that here. Got Chris to come on board here, saying great to hear you doing your broadcasting tonight. Thank you, Grandpa. For all the folks at home back as well in Iowa, just be aware, yes, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still kicking, and I miss and love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thanks so much for always tuning in and doing these shows. But right now, currently, we are still watching down in the Glen section here. This is Watkins Glen, New York, down in the down half of New York City. Beautiful facility, beautiful place as well here. Finally getting to see this place, see this track out here, man. It was a quite a picturesque little view. Even though it may be on the satellite view, it doesn't mean I can't see the track and see around the place or two. And it's a wild little track, and if you raced it ever, it's still one of the toughest tracks to master and figure out. You wouldn't think that considering what you see on the time zones and the time gaps, but hey, you know, some drivers get it figured out quicker than others. Some, they struggle a little bit, but that's where we've always said, you sometimes will find the best, and then sometimes you'll find the rest. But I would not ever put these guys in the rest category. I always feel like these are the guys that put their lives and their careers at stake, just trying to showcase what they're able to accomplish and what they're able to do at their speeds and at their level. And they're trying to do that right now here, as Mann Jr. in that 99 still deals with the 48. Oh, George Young right behind him. Yeah, some great speed coming off from Mann Jr.'s line there as well. He is currently maneuvering through, trying to find every little angle, find every little spot he can to put up or make the 48 shut up down there. He will not let him off, though. George and Mann Jr., again, two good friends, two good pals, but, you know, in the racing world, there's one thing we've always said: don't trust your friends and don't trust your enemies. Only you can trust yourself, and you got to make sure you have the drive and the willpower to do so. I think he's really well aware of that. He's still trying to figure it out right now. And for the record, where I am right now on the satellite view, it is a little bit later, so if you accidentally hear me yawn a little bit, I apologize in advance, but just know there is absolutely nothing I can do about that. Also for everyone at home, just to let you know that no, we are not just doing this one race and then calling it a week. We have one more race on the lineup and on the burners for you guys. Do not fear, tomorrow morning, afternoon, wherever you may be watching this and hearing the call, we will be live here on the show, PTM Racing TV. I'm not going to give you guys a definitive time and everything will be live. It will be just up when it's up, but we will see the Venom Truck Series team and drivers. They will go at it at, of all places, Myrtle Beach Speedway. You heard me. We're going to grassroots racing tomorrow afternoon, boys and girls. We'll see Myrtle Beach Speedway with the Venom Truck Series on show and on display here soon enough tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned and stay with the action here live on PT Racing TV. And if you are new to the show as well here, we also will remind you at home, we are not using this overlay because we wanted to. It's because we're kind of needing to, so we will be switching that back out here in a couple weeks here. So just give us time, give us a little bit of a workaround. But if you do, we would appreciate it for a little like and a follow here on our Facebook. And if you have not already, head to our YouTube as well and subscribe there to make sure you guys never miss out on the action and never miss out on some of the live calls too. Yes, that's right. We do live calls on the YouTube end too, and they do not get posted to Facebook until after the race. So something just to keep note of. Something also to keep note of right now. I've been watching carefully here on this big 32 machine in that Toyota Tundra machine. That, of course, being ran by the big man himself, Steven Gibson. Gibson right now, currently holding on in that top 5, top 10 bracket. He's actually well on pace and well on to holding out with Robert Lawrence here. And there's one thing we know about old Lawrence here is he does not exactly give an inch to anybody. He won't let you give away too quickly. If he finds that little drive, that extra little speed, he'll come right for you. He'll come knocking at your door. And that's exactly what he's up to here. He is trying to get up to the 32's bumper and make him think about it a little more. There's one thing we always said in road course racing is you're fighting the track more than you are the drivers. But if there is one thing that switches that out completely is when somebody does get to you, then you start to get a little bit nervous about fighting the track out more so than you do trying to fight the other driver off. Then it literally becomes an hassle and a battle on its own ends, on its own legs. And that's exactly what right now he is trying to avoid at all costs. Speaking of avoiding at all costs right now, Harley Barletta trying to avoid the overwhelming troubles that he suffered through earlier on here with turn number 1, has gotten the car back out to tip-top shape, tip-top speeds, but unfortunately he's not quite in the same ballpark or league as he's hoping for right now, as we see a bit of a pass here gained. That is for the 8th slot. Sheldon Pearson, the PM and Sons Ford Chevrolet Silverado, getting ahead of that Champ Power Equipment Ford Mustang Mad Racing machine here. The Mad Dash car of Eli Childs moves it right up ahead, and PM and Sons number 8 has now regained his son and regained his drive to survive. He is now moved in the 8th slot as he continues to fight off the guys in the back behind him, with Jason Taylor and Eli Childs hot on his door panel. And you know, again with Pearson, I've always kind of given the old advantage and oddity of the old box of chocolate style of racing. It's like, I don't know sometimes what I'm going to get. I don't know if he'll end up giving me delicious and sweet, tasty racing, or if he's going to unfortunately find himself kind of in a horrible ended wreck, or he'll finds himself just making a silly mistake and then everything just goes sour for that moment. One thing is for sure, though, and one thing is definitely well accustomed to and noticed of, is he's not a quitter, and he will not give in to anything or anyone as long as the car can work to its fullest potential. Sparks starting to fly off on the cars here too. That is one thing that is still really awesome to see and unique about iRacing, is just how much realism and how much effort they have put in to not only the sim, but just the feel, the look, the control. I mean, that is one thing I absolutely still cannot get really not accustomed to, or really can't say anything bad about it. It's just, it's a very different feeling you get, as well as from the broadcasting end when you're doing these calls for iRacing, because it just seems like you really are seeing the live action and the live cars, and it's about of a less virtual world and more of a real world standpoint. Right, yeah, this is still a virtual world. I'm not going to kid anybody there, and I'm not going to try to throw anyone a lie or two, but I always felt like it's probably the most realistic feeling and overall enjoyment that I think you could get for what our offerings are right now. But who knows to say, and who's to say in due time how much that could change and how much it will continue to evolve. Looks like just fuel there for the number 15, Jason Taylor, by the way. No tires for the Ford Performance Machine. I am kind of surprised by that strategy. I mean, but did hear them earlier on. They said these tires really don't burn up. And if that is the case, then that is a bit of a problem, because if you ask me, you need to have some kind of burn up to keep those race leaders somewhat close to you. They're not exactly giving you a break here. They've already lapped up to the 10th spot, and they're already going to the 10th degree of possibly getting up to the 9th spot of Eli Childs here. As I say that, literally he has now put a lap down, actually. So we have Childs being passed by his own adversary and old enemy, and Craig Janzik. And speaking to those two, I mean, let's talk about that as well here. What an absolute war zone they put on. It was a while back. We saw them here at Watkins Glen, New York. They were going at it in those Fast and Fun Rally Challenge series. This was the first time really we were able to see them just go back and forth with one another and their element in their style. It would come out to be with Childs managing to get the better of Janzik at some spots. It would be then Childs getting the better of him on other. And then Janzik at the end, able to kind of outwit and outsmart, was able to take control and finalize that race end. And these guys also are one of them is responsible, I should say, for the closest finish we've ever witnessed here on PT Race TV, with Dan Starner and him, as well as even Richard Forgel having a little thing or two to say between each other. But of course, the one I think everyone knows most from us is the one that iRacing even put up, which was literally Janzik and Starner to the line off of the front straightaway. Went from a 3 wide to just an absolute chaotic finish and a chaotic climactic sequence. Speaking of a sequence here, seeing one car crashed out there. I am not confirming who that is. I think that might be, and I'm going to have to say now who it is. I think you know who it is. Oh, man. And that fire department depot coffee machine of Caleb Forsyth has sadly wrecked it down in turn number 1. We'll have to take a look at the PT Instant replay and see what went wrong there. Fire department coffee 76 now is on the shot here. Let's take a look at this one as we visit the replay. Presented by Champion Power Equipment. Here is your PTM Instant replay. Here's what happened. Came down into turn number 1. This is the same turn you saw earlier that bit Harley Barletta. You're probably wondering, home, why is it? It seems like it's the turtles there. Ugh. Well, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I'll tell you one thing though. As soon as he hit, that whole car hit right back at him. Dashed up the left front. You can hear him actually shifting in, trying to get the car back in gear, back at speed, and I think that's when he realized he was kind of done for. That's a bit of a hard break there, unfortunately. A bit of a tough little time to get around here. We'll have to see if he's able to get back to and back up to top shape here. I'm not going to say he's going to be on the track anytime soon, though. He's got a lot of work to do, and he's got a lot of timing he's going to need to dial in here. So the track right now has claimed 3 drivers. I guess if you want to count 4, you could probably include Robert Lawrence for earlier on for that little spin and mishap he did. Not sure I would throw that in necessarily, but I think we kind of have to. But hey, at the end of the day, he's still arching up a lot quicker than some of these other guys have. We are now halfway to the end of this race here, race fans, and what a drive it has been already. We have gone through 16 the toughest drivers to grace their presence to face off here on our road course challenge week. But unfortunately for some, they were not able to do in or fight the challenge that laid in wait. Now some of them are paying with the cars and paying with more than their fair share, I would say. .1 laps left to go right now. Still checking out our drivers, checking out the field here. Some surprises here still. Stephen Pless amazingly able to hold on to his position even though he's about 40 seconds back of his teammate, Craig Janzik. You got to give the man his credit is due. Not giving up. Not letting anyone get to him that easily and not letting him get bothered by any other drivers. But at the same token, knows he can't be letting too many things slip. He needs to stay focused and really up his ante, up his drive. Let's go on board here, though, as you see him working the wheels. Alright, but on the 81 going to get out of the way here right now. As you see Plus going right into turn number 1 here, trying to dish out some speed, some extra gain. There's about 20 laps left to go here. He's going to have to stay focused, going to have to stay more on target, more on the spot here. So much right now to have to work with, and so much he's going to have to fight with again just to even get the speed and get the adrenaline kicked up and get the timing just right. But the fuel as well is a big factor too, because again, Janzik, the only thing he's going to go in for is probably just going to be fuel and maybe a set of tires, I guess. But I would say more than anything, he's probably just going to go for fuel considering how long he's been out on the track. Kyle Holden kind of thinking that same mindset, but he is still nowhere near the time there that Janzik's bringing up. He has been dialed in from point A to point B. Look back at the field right now as well. The 32, Stevie Gibson right now. Another guy we have really not been able to see too much of or talk with too much about because he's been just kind of hanging back low, kind of hanging out of trouble here. Hasn't really put himself in a bad spot or put himself into a bad limelight here. He's been just kind of more focused on taking care of his car, taking care of his speed, and I think he's been doing quite a bit well on that. We'll take a look at his onboard camera here. Marching down the ends right now, he is looking at that 15, Jason Taylor, the 4 Performance machine here, looking to lap him up while a big bad green, black and green wrecking machine, passing machine, whatever the heck you want to call it, has kind of eked and addered his way around. As Stephen Pless and Kyle Holden both enter into pit road. Both guys have now entered into their late stages of this race, as Gibson now has to deal with the speed and adrenaline push of that big bad 0-2 machine of Craig Janzik. I think there's really one thing, if we take a look on the onboard camera here at Janzik, we need to really pay attention to. I want you just to see how tough he is pushing this car, while at the same time forcefully making it bend at its will. Because it is a road course, you heard him say earlier on, the tires really don't take too much trouble or take too much squabble, and that's exactly what these things are doing right now. They are absolutely throwing their weight around, throwing the speed at high pitched performance and high level octane energy, while at the same time he's really not losing control of the car. He's really just more or less kind of forcing it just to stay on line, which makes absolutely no sense. But if you look at the way he's cornering, he's getting that front end just to stick just enough, while the rear end kicks out the slightest bit to apex the corners, apex around the track, gathering much momentum and a whole lot of speed to do what he's doing. Gibson making his way around that 15 of Taylor. Taylor right now has to deal with more company as he kind of forces Janzik a little bit. It looks like Janzik is kind of blocked off. Taylor able to get out of his way though. I think Janzik was thinking about probably pummeling him in if he had to, if it meant getting him out of that run, out of that spot. I really do think this is a different kind of Janzik we're looking at right now, and a different kind of breed of drivers. These guys pretty much either have been put on the shelf or put on the run so many times there. I think they're just getting kind of tired of it. I think really their biggest thing is they want to be top dog. They want to be top of the mountain, but they seemingly cannot find that one extra thing, that one extra little kick that makes you not only a good driver, but a great driver. And I feel like with road tracks like this here, this really allows guys to perform at a higher level, perform at a higher stake, and they know it too, and they need it to. Pearson right now going to be lapped down again here. Kyle Holden getting around him as Janzik has gone into pit road. Holden, I think, probably trying to hold out on the fuel as long as he can. But even then, he still is nowhere near Janzik, so I don't even think he's going to have time to catch him and then pass him. I think Janzik will probably be heading out of pit road any minute here, and I guarantee you he'll be taking tires and fuel, judging by how long this pit stop is going. And really, can you blame him? You saw what he was doing earlier on. He was flipping, he was slipping, he was dripping that thing all the way to New Hampshire and back, much less in New York. He was not giving an inch on that car. Cale Forsyth here, still troubles there in the 76 machine. Still a tough break earlier on, getting into that wall protection turn 1. Same track corner that this man hit in the 81 machine, the 1111 Toyota Camry. That being, of course, Harley Barletta. Harley entered into the turn just a little too sharp, lost it, and then straight into the barriers, and that right front locked in place and broken out. And there wasn't much he could do about that. Laps left to go here. We are currently hitting to the final stages, ends of this race, and at this point, unless you're in that top 3 or you're really far in that top 5, I would not want to be you right now, trying not to go a lap down. That's all I could say. Tyler Meeks heading into pit road. Robert Lawrence goes and takes in over the 3rd spot here. Richard Fornshell going to try to get his lap back if he can. Stephen Gibson staying ahead of him, though. Sheldon Pearson earlier on having a great little tangle up there with Eli Childs, as well as, of course, Harley Barletta, and dealing with some company from him. Caleb Forsyth kind of in that hunt. He's been using some very good tactics and some very strong patient level endurances here to make his way around the track, to make his way through this field. Falling further and further back right now after the pit road stops here. Tyler Meeks here trying to get back up to Sheldon Pearson, currently holding a 6th slot down. I think we get the timing sheets figured out here. And just for the record, yeah, the timing I'm seeing is the same thing you guys are seeing up on the top of your screen. So that's all I get to work with. I don't get anything else here. But of course, this race has been presented in part by our friends at Champion Power Equipment. And you guys need the best power generator tools on the market. There's only been one brand and name that we have trusted above all else. That is with our good friends at Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to check out their latest tool lines and power generators today by visiting them up at www.championpowerequipment.com. For more information, check out their link in their Facebook, and also check out the website at www.championpowerequipment.com. Thank you so much to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring and supporting the Fast and Fun Cup Series this season and all the other previous seasons. 11 laps to go now. Currently, it looks like Gibson giving a little bit of a headache there to Janzik. Janzik didn't quite exactly make it easy for him to let him by. At the same time, Gibson wasn't exactly wanting to let him by. I think, if anything, it's probably just more annoyed that he had to leave the lap down, unfortunately, and give that time up to him. Robert Lawrence, though, moving into that third spot. Remember, Lawrence earlier on started back in that back half in the top 15. And the fact that he's been able to literally march his way back through the field, back into this lineup, that just tells you a lot about Lawrence's drive to win and his drive to go out and do what he needs to do. But at the same time here with this Elite Performance Industries machine, you know, he's only picked up one win this season. And I believe that was back at Road America, if I do remember correctly. Fact check me on that here, race fans, as well as my crew down there, please. Remember, I'm on satellite here, so I do not have all my stuff with me. I do apologize in advance here. But I believe, yep, Robert Lawrence actually did pop that one up. That was back at Road America. Other than that, it has been pretty much the Janzik and Craig show, if you will. Excuse me, the Boyd and Craig show here. Boyd Hoggett, when he's been rolling around here, he's been kicking up a few notches and really making things very difficult for the other drivers out there. Seemingly trying to prove a point, while also trying to prove that he can bring the best of his equipment out to the show. And that's exactly what we've been getting, and that's exactly what's been presenting itself to here. 9 laps left, though. Kyle holding the 5 right now, trying to hold back the number 90 machine of Richard Fornshell. Fornshell still in the market, still in his line and in his sights. Doesn't want to lose any more laps, but unfortunately I don't think he's going to even have a chance to catch up with some of the other guys here. Stephen Pless really just found himself in a bad predicament there, had mechanical problems, and then got stuck in pit road. And the 69 machine, after a lot of pit time, having just to replace some parts, cost himself dearly and cost himself a chance at possibly being able to walk away with this one. So he'll have to kind of settle down what he's been given, what he's got on his plate. What a bad deal and an absolutely tough break, to say the least. I mean, there's one thing you just hate to see. It's a driver put his heart and soul into that car for that spot and that drive, and the next thing you know, looked like he had top 3 locked up, and then it just completely went away quicker than my chances of getting off the satellite view for more than a couple more weeks. That's okay, guys. At least I'm enjoying myself while I'm at it. Robert Lawrence here on the 34 right now, going to be put right into the line of sight behind the 48 of George Young. Young, though, not exactly let him by, and he'll let him by that time. Young actually crisscross applesauced it off of turn 11 here, gives a chance there to the 34. Lawrence, great deal of speed, great deal of power, managing to make his way back through the field, back into the run. Now showcasing his speed and control and ability. He's proving he didn't just win Road America for no reason. The Champion Power Equipment 100 belonged to him for that reason. He knew it, and he is throwing it down again here at the Glen. But they're all still chasing down the guy that has only 7 laps left to go, 14 seconds ahead of his second place competitor. Kyle Holden, if he does not find a way to figure out how to get more speed, how to get more drive, then I don't know if he's going to be able to catch that 0-2. He said it before, he'll say it again. He came into this race with one little thing on his mind: vengeance. Vengeance and revenge for what happened here against the bounty hunter himself, Sean Bounty, against literally everybody at Road America when he literally missed turn 1, being the number 1 qualifier too in that race. He has come forth to try to appeal to his racing gods and his racing speed, the Lord of Speed himself, and I think he's done that and then some, but the question is, will he be able to continue and carry the momentum into the playoffs? He has still not been able to be getting 2 championship Cup Series divisions. He's looking to try to change that in 2 generations of cars. It would certainly be something if he can follow it off here in this season. Five laps left remaining in this one. Everybody, I gotta believe at this point, weared and teared and torn themselves apart a few times here, just absolutely yanking at the corners, yanking at the drive, just trying to find a way around this place. Again, these road courses, they are not easy by any means. They are the toughest they can be. They will test your body, they will test your limits and your soul out on this track for one good reason. Because it's designed to, and it will be made to. There is no workarounds for it, and there is no way of getting around it. Four laps left to go right now. William Manager in the 29, staying right up ahead here of the 34 of Robert Lawrence here, keeping his speed and accuracy at least somewhat of a nomad from him. Remember, as well, race fans here, we'll talk with the top 3 following today's action here. Presented in part by our friends at Champion Power Equipment. When you guys need the best power generators around, only one brand and name has stood above all else, and that is our friends at Champion Power Equipment. Be sure to get yours at www.championpowerequipment.com. While also checking out their Facebook link, their Twitter and Instagram links as well to see about latest information and product lines. But a big thank you to them and their service. Champion Power Equipment is the sole sponsor of the Fast and Fun Cup Series. And speaking of sole survivor right now, 34 Robert Swank trying not to be the only sole survivor to not feel the wrath of his teammate in that 0-2. Jantic is going to be a matter of just 3 laps down now after this corner, after this leg up. Absolutely wild to see and crazy to believe. But that's just the sheer speed and volume of control and momentum that everybody has carried through and carried down around the track, trying to be relatively somewhat there and relatively in that same, offering that same kind of speed here. Three laps will turn to only 2 laps to go. This go around here with green flag high in the air as the 0-2 Craig Jantic absolutely washing and I mean water washing this entire field underneath him. No sweat, no pain, no gain, but you know, I think this one really has been kind of a painful race for him to kind of have to sit through because of how long he has to wait just to get in to that top spot. And again, that's what these guys always try to strive for, always try to claim to be. But what happens when you got a guy that is just so deadly bound and determined to literally put themselves in that spot no matter at what cost? Well, you tell me that one, because honestly, I don't even know how to get around it other than just there is no way around it. He absolutely hit his marks and hit his spots and took his shots. And now he can finally see the big white flag high in the air. Craig Janzek will have the white flag up in the air this time by. You see it flying and right on the right side of your screen. One more lap to success. He's already been locked in the playoffs. His championship run still very high on his mind. He knows when he gets into the round race and round robins, he'll have quite the workaround. And speaking of workaround, looked like he might have had a little company in trouble there with a 15. Jason Taylor for a brief moment, making it slightly interesting here. I think may back off a little bit. Looks like Taylor wants to back off first, though. Gives their 0-2 some time to breathe. He's a little bit bouncy through the corners, though. Settles it back down nicely. And the mad dash in the 0-2 has now gotten through the first troublesome spot up to his teammate Robert Lawrence in the 34, but it does not matter. 2 more good turns. Just let the car roll through. Don't try anything too crazy. And it looks like he will not indeed into the final turn 12. The 0-2 Mad Racing Toyota Camry will bring it back to victory lane. Redemption for the Zanny fam. So long of waiting, so long of missing out on these battles and these drives, survives, and at last manages to pick up the W and pick up the victory here on the show. You know, he's been here quite a bit of times before, but you know, I think this one means just a little bit more. What a win. But they'll bring it right around the track here, race fans. They're going to finish their laps out, finish out their spots here. Lawrence finally getting across the finish line. Everyone was already a lap down. Doesn't really matter at this point. Robert Lawrence and Kyle Holden will be your second and first place winners. Janzik will be the victor, though, at Watkins Glen as he takes the 5 of Kyle Holden for a ride. I don't think 33 Wide Motorsports will be too happy about that little hiccup, but I think Kyle's not going to mind too much. What the heck. What a battle and what a race win. And the time has now come to listen to the top 3. Let's listen to them now. Here you're in your 3rd spot today, piloting the 34 EPI Elite Performance Industries machine. Give it up for Robert Lawrence. And Lawrence, congratulations once again on another podium at a road course.
That was, for one, undeserved, and 2, one heck of a workout.
I was really saying on the call here, I said point blank, like, I think these guys have absolutely tortured and punished themselves enough as it is, but this track is about as grueling as it got to the last leg of it. For you and this crew, I mean, what does this mean to get another podium out here?
It's great for the points, great for my own morale. I'm just glad that I have EPI backing me for everything, so thankful for them, but It was a grueling race from the beginning to the end. Beginning, I messed up both Q laps, so I had to start at the tail end. And then, like, lap 3, I ended up looping it in the bus stop. So, on top of starting in the back, I have to try to catch everyone over again. And then, oh, it was absolute chaos for me to try to catch up. And unfortunately, Plus lost connection, so I gained a spot there, and then Tyler unfortunately sped in the pit, so I gained another position there. But it was a good race, a long race, a scary race, but it was a good one.
Al, I mean, you put it pretty much kind of the way we were thinking, the way we were think it was going to go, but nevertheless, as you finished away third, anybody want to thank for that?
I gotta thank Champion for putting on this league, hell of a league, a lot of fun people. I also gotta thank EPI for being on the car, putting up the sets, and being such great partners. And thank Craig for helping me out. I was struggling a little bit there in practice, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction. And that helped me a ton. And I want to thank the rest of my teammates, Tyler and Bless, and everyone else. So gotta thank them, and thank you for putting up with the shenanigans as always.
Well, I think you guys have been putting up enough of our shenanigans these last couple of weeks, so I think we'll take it this time. Nevertheless, Lawrence, thanks so much for your support, bud. Congratulations on a third place finish.
Thank you.
Robert Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, coming away third out of the bunch. The man that comes away second, though, then the big 3 wide motorsports camp. Kyle Holden, the 5, takes another second place finish drive home. And Kyle, we talked about it earlier. You said point blank you just can't catch Janzik, but I mean, there was a few times it looked like you could have actually had something for him had the timing not gone too far out. Did the track just become a little bit too hard to kind of master with him running around here?
It was just me. Ultimately, I just couldn't get down that fast lap time like he was putting down. I was trying so hard, and I was tracking for a 109.5, but those last 2 corners kept on flubbing me up, so I couldn't gain on him either or capitalize on both of those mistakes that he had. But great finish for us overall, though.
Great finish indeed here. I know there was a lot at stake and a lot on the line. But, nevertheless here, with everything that kind of played out, everything that kind of went down, what would have been the biggest thing you feel like you should have changed or really you could have changed here?
I think I'd use the setup with a different spring package. Maybe that would have helped me out over the long run. But mainly, I should have put down more practice. Try to get that 109 before race day, and then see if we can pull it off during race day. But it was a tough challenge out there. I know everyone who showed up had a rough time, but I hope everyone had fun, and we just had a good race.
You certainly did, D. Well, nevertheless, though, as you come away second place out of today, is there anybody want to thank for that?
Of course, you guys up in the booth do a wonderful job. Love watching the races after we do them. Huge thanks to Champion for putting this on for us, and huge shout out to Team Watson for always giving us wonderful cars.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, Kyle, congratulations here on the second place finish, sir. Great to hear you back in this third spot today.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
The second place spot, top 3 for him, I should say. Here, right now, it is, of course, Kyle Holden in the 5. And, well, all you can say is redemption for this man. Craig Janzik is your winner at New York and the Watkins Glen, and a return trip home for you, sir.
It feels really good. Hey, thank you. We did a couple of things to try to throw this one away too, but thankfully we had enough of a buffer that all we had to do was just make sure that we locked it down and took a little bit of care of it, and we were really careful through traffic, and we didn't really have too much of an issue. So I'm so happy to be able to win this one for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Thanks so much to them for being on the car for this, and my heart's always with Hannah and Cash and Jess and Eli. They go through some unspeakable things, and again, like I said in the pre-race, any little thing that I can do, I feel is more than justified. So yeah, this one feels really good. The Elite Performance Industries setup under this one was unbelievable. Really, the lap times I was turning were close to and beating a few of the Coke guys, and that feels really good for me, and it really shows what Team Conti can build under the hood. So I'm speechless, and I'm elated with this one.
Definitely got to be happy with the overall results, overall performance again this crew has been putting up here. I know these last couple road courses have been absolutely torturous for you, but really what was kind of just that motivation and drive with this car that really was able to find the leg up to get this win again for you?
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the current road course tire that we have in this car is that it never falls off. In fact, it actually speeds up over the course of a run. So you're only pitting for fuel because if you take tires, you're just going to slow yourself down. And you'll, I mean, you could see the fastest lap of my race was on lap 38. So a few laps after the pit stop and right in the middle of that final stint there. So I think the small contributing factor is the way that I love to hustle the car. I think it really fits my general driving style because I just want to, I want to hustle every lap and give it 100% all the time. So that fits my style. And then again, Michael Conti makes some of the fastest race cars that iRacing has ever seen, and this is certainly one of them. And I'm just, I'm really honored to have been able to even drive it. And then combining that with, really good teammates, Robbie, Pless, Meeks, running this with us and trying to make sure that we are all on the same page with, what gear we're going to run in what corner and how much curb can we take, and we're gonna pound the bus stop, but when is it, when do we need to be a little conservative with it to make sure that the car lands straight, and figuring all that out was really all those things come together and are super important.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Janzik, as you come away with the race win today, closing out a successful campaign after 3 tries, who do you want to thank for that?
Yeah, thanks so much to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring us here in the league. It's awesome to be able to represent a great brand that with such esteemed reputation in the racing industry. So huge thanks to them. Thanks to Kevin Blackstone, all his guys and girls there. Thanks to league admins for all that they do for us, and thanks again to Mother Against Drunk Driving for being on this car on the primary. Might resurface later on. But thanks to the Free Beer and Hot Wings morning show, Elite Performance Industries, Fresh Juice iRacing Designs, everybody that supports me throughout this is a big fan of me. And thanks to you guys, PTM, and all the viewers out there as well. It's good to have you back. I hear a new mic for you. You sound crystal clear. I love to hear it. And we're in a good place here, moving forward to the last race of the regular season at Darlington.
Maybe crystal clear for now. I'll be changing that here in due time. But nevertheless, here, Janzik, really appreciate coming on board. Congratulations getting on this race win, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your race winner today at the Glen, it is Craig Janzik with the victory. Well, race fans, that will all but do it for our coverage here of the action here for the Champion Power Equipment Fast Fun Cup Series. Thank you again to our friends at Champion Power Equipment for the support and the help this season. Big thank you to them. Big thank you to everybody that tuned on into this show. We love and support you guys, and thank you so much for it all. We'll see you guys soon enough when the green flag flies on PTM Race TV. But until then, be safe. God bless. Take care. See you tomorrow as we get live for Venom Truck Series at our Roots track, Myrtle Beach.